I want to know what he will be feeling right now in a car that is so far behind the best cars in Formula One. And this is a driver who has never shied away from telling the world that if he's not in a fast car, he's not going to be happy. And if he's not happy, he doesn't always stick around.
I've got a ton of respect for Max Verstappen. I think he's matured beyond where I thought he was going to mature to in a very short period of time. And he's a true world champion, probably the best driver out there today.
Yes.
What does Max Verstappen's future look like if Red Bull can't get a car that wins races this season?
Not in Red Bull.
Yeah.
Honestly,
that's what his future.
The best drivers usually choose the best teams. Figure out who the best team is when he's out of contract, and I'm sure he'll want to go there. Mercedes, maybe?
Red Bull, no. Red Bull are open about the fact that they need to deliver the best car, or at least a car that Max can win in, which doesn't have to be the best car because of how good he is. They're open about the fact that if they don't do that, he is going to look elsewhere.
They probably didn't have the best car last year, and he nearly won it.
Yeah.
And I've said this in the past. Had they kept Sergio, he would have won it.
Yeah.
you think?
Very true.
Is that
And great
explain
point.
that to me?
So he lost it to Lando by 3 points.
Yep.
All they needed is a Sergio to supplant himself between a Max win and a Lando a couple of times.
Yeah, but Sergio wasn't doing that though.
Give him the whole season.
Do it a couple of times.
Do it. You just do it once.
Yep.
If you have a one-time Max 1, Sergio 2, Max wins the championship. How many races did he win? 7, 8?
Some crazy amount.
So
yeah.
of those 7, 8 that Max won, you just needed a 1-2 once, right? So the car's there. Max has won it, Suzuka, wherever. Just needed a 1-2 once, and Max wins the championship.
I just think Sergio mentally was so broken by what was going on at Red. Mind you, it depends what Sergio is behind the wheel of that car.
You just needed it once.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
At a track that he likes,
Yeah.
just one time.
Okay, well that
Or
didn't
just
happen.
just ahead of Lando.
That didn't
And
happen.
then- yeah.
So we didn't win the title last season. So already he's feeling, I do prefer it when I do win the world title. So now we go into this season and the car isn't where it's at. You said maybe Mercedes. I feel like Mercedes is sewn up now with George having just signed a new deal. Kimi obviously is like the future there. Is there ever a world where he's at Mercedes next season?
Stranger things have happened in Formula One.
Could Mercedes being successful this season make it increase the likelihood of Max going there in a strange way?
Or not so strange way. I think the answer is yes, because remember, the best drivers want to be with the best teams. So Mercedes dominates. Hard to predict the future, but you can look at the past and say, maybe they'll continue to dominate. And here I am, best driver, best team. And you said it, Rob, I think last time we were together, performance isn't guaranteed in Formula One.
Yeah.
So you got to do everything you can to make sure you continue to perform.
Would Toto want Max
In a Mercedes.
in a Mercedes? The answer is yes. It's 100%. We already know that from like what is public knowledge that whatever year it was, 23, 24 or whatever, right?
Well, we know he was trying to get him or was
Yeah.
certainly...
yeah. It's,
But why would you want Max in a Mercedes if the people who are in the Mercedes, for
Are
example, is a world champion George Russell and a second in the world championship, young Kimi Antonelli,
Getting better.
getting better, and the team is stable and they understand each other, and George is a Mercedes guy? Like, it feels like a gamble to me to go and get Max and put him in that car, that team.
The one thing for sure with Max is probably the best driver out there today.
yeah.
And that's not being disrespectful to everyone else because they're all supremely talented. But
No,
if you
it's-
look
it's
at
being
Max,
more respectful to Max, probably, right? That's all we're. Yeah, I agree with Otmar. If you look at so here's the thing, right? Here's a question for all of us. If we had 22 now identical cars, who wins all the races in the championship?
Max Verstappen.
Max
Max.
for me. right? So why wouldn't you want that guy in your? What does he bring? We don't know what he brings. It's very difficult. But does he bring 2/10? Does he bring 2.5? Does he bring 3? I think that's less important. I think what he brings is a champion who has won multiple world championships, so he knows how to do it repeatedly. And B, he's one of those drivers that he will take all the opportunities and put them together and package that into race wins and championships.
And he's completely matured over the last 3-4 years. He's a complete driver.
What do you mean by that?
At the beginning, I think he was taking undue risks that he didn't need to take, and then didn't finish where he should have finished, and that's not the case anymore.
Yeah, but again, I think that we can look at his speed and his ability and how he wins world titles, but you're still going to upset a team that's otherwise stable.
But to be successful in anything, you have to continue to evolve and keep almost reinventing yourself. That's the same in anything, right? Business, sport, whatever. You can't take the Manchester United team of the class of 92 and put them out to play now in exactly the same way.
You think complacency doesn't work even when you're winning?
You got to keep evolving, keep reinventing yourself, keep taking all of those, tiny marginal gains and keep packaging them. It's up to Toto's in charge, right? He has to kind of guide the ship. It's his ship to guide. He has to make sure that, I put if it might be Max Verstappen, it might be a new technical director, it might be whatever, right? But he's got to take the talent and get the most out of that talent. So I think that would he, as the guy who's guiding that, well, Otmar, you should answer this. If you were in Toto's shoes and you win the world championship at the end of this year, with either George or Kimi, doesn't matter, regardless of who you have to displace, would you take Max?
Sitting here today, with everything I know, I would take Max if I had the opportunity.
I suppose really the question also needs to come down to Red Bull. What do Red Bull need to do to turn this season around after a tricky start? And what's gone wrong, I guess, for a team that know how to win?
Mercedes have stole the march, right? Mercedes have got things right rather than looking at what Red Bull have got wrong. I don't think there's anything fundamentally wrong with that car. I mean, I'm not party to looking at all the telemetry and the data, but you can look at the in-car camera. You can watch that. There's a little bit of data that kind of exists from various sources that you can go and have a look at.
The race engineer underworld.
The race engineer underworld.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's nothing wrong with the car, right? Okay, the power unit isn't a Mercedes power unit. That's number one. Second is there's not a great deal wrong with the car. It's not as if it's evil and it's it's really badly handling. It just hasn't been developed as much as the Mercedes. It's just not as good car. So they just have to now catch up.
Looking at it from a different perspective, not the engineering dark web perspective. Teams that don't go through iterations of management change at the senior level seem to do better.
Yeah. Always.
So they've had Wheatley leave, Newey leave, Horner leave, even Marco leave.
Yep. All of that.
And all that coincides with doing your own powertrain.
Yeah. Which is a huge undertaking.
Huge undertaking. But it just seems like the ones that have stability, Toto's been there a long time. They've come back to the fore.
And I think maybe Rob's right, is that maybe we're judging everyone else wrong just because Mercedes have done so well.
Yeah.
So it almost looks worse for the teams that aren't Mercedes, actually.
Yeah, and if you don't have a Mercedes power unit, it's pretty clear that you're not going to be winning anytime soon.
Yeah.
So
I think the Ferrari's second.
Yes. And good.
And good. And good. But this is Red Bull's foray into powertrain engineering, and it's not that easy.
But the real question is, because we're talking about Max, has Max got the patience to see that come together?
Yeah.
Well, you're here to answer the questions as well.
Not
as
ask them.
You can ask them if you want, but you have to also answer them.
Well, my answer is no.
He doesn't have the patience.
And my answer is also I would back that up by saying nor should he, right? He's an athlete. He's at the pinnacle of his career. He is undoubtedly, I think, the best driver out there right now. Even if you put it to the drivers, the other 21 drivers, hope I've got that number right, they would all vote for him. They would resoundingly vote for Max as the best pound-for-pound driver in 2026. So there's no doubt that he is like at the absolute peak of his career. That's not going to last forever. We see that with even current
Absolutely.
drivers.
Finite period.
Yeah.
And time goes by. And what did we say at the beginning? The best driver wants to be with the best team.
Yeah, of course. So he shouldn't have patience. He should just go where, if he gets an offer to go in a better car, all bets are off. Loyalty's out the window, I'm afraid. That's how it is with athletes and drivers.
Well, in a moment, we're going to talk about an athlete who has had to have patience time and time again in his Formula One career, because he is also one of the greatest, and it's been a long time since he has held.